If you're not using your DMs to sell, you're leaving money on the table. But let's be real. No one wants to feel like the spammy bro marketer on LinkedIn or that chick trying to sell you makeup from high school in your Facebook Messenger. Today, I'm breaking down exactly how to make your digital and service based offers sellable in the DMs without needing a complicated sales funnel or even a fancy website. Hey, I'm Victoria, and I help businesses create actionable sales and marketing strategies. And here's what you need to know about Instagram. Reels build your audience, posts build your business, stories build connection, and DMs build customers that become your raving fans. And today I'm going to show you how to make your offers so easy to say yes to that people are practically asking where to sign up. So today you're going to learn what is DM sales and where can you use it, making your offers easy to buy, and where automation can help you with this process. And by the way, if you want to dive deeper into actually closing those DM sales and not just generating leads, check out my course DM to Dollars, where I teach my framework for selling in the DMs with ease, including a bunch of scripts that make every step of the process much easier. So, what is DM sales and where can you use it? So, DM sales just means selling directly through conversations instead of relying on a full blown website or a full sales page or a sales call. It's all about relationship based selling, not cold pitching, but engaging with the people who are already interested in you and your offer. So instead of sending someone to a complicated funnel, telling them to sign up for your webinar, telling somebody to jump on a discovery call or fill out your contact form, you're just guiding them through a quick decision via conversation. And that conversion in the DMs can mean a lot of different things. A conversion could be signing a contract, booking a call, paying an invoice, but it could also be something like joining a freebie that leads to a paid offer, actually listening to your podcast or your YouTube video, actually using a blog post that maybe you sent them to help them solve a problem. So a conversion in the DMs can be a lot of different things. But for the sake of this conversation, we're mostly going to focus on selling digital products and done for you services. But what I want you to know is that you define your success, and not every DM conversation needs to be a sale immediately. So, how do you explain your offer to anyone and everyone? Articulating your offer for DM sales is really all about how you talk about your offer. It's not about your sales page, it's not about your tagline, it's not even about your checkout page. It's the way you present it in content and in DMs that makes or breaks the sales. So, I want you to ask yourself, am I excited about my offer? Do I believe in its impact? Am I passionate about the transformation it provides? And if I sound bored or unsure, my audience is going to feel very much the same way. And the number one sales problem is not talking about your offer enough. If your offer isn't selling, ask yourself, when is the last time I talked about it? Because chances are you're not mentioning your offer nearly enough. And you should be mentioning your offer daily in things like stories, emails, website copy, blog posts, social media posts, podcast interviews, summits, and guest appearances. It should feel like you are nonstop name dropping your offer and nonstop talking about your offer. But let's jump into how to structure your offer for DM sales. So, number one is make sure that the title of it is easy to remember and sort of rolls off the tongue. For example, I mentioned DM to Dollars earlier. I also have Activated Audio Academy, Sell in DM's Playbook, and it doesn't have to be a super sexy title. It just has to be clear and it just has to be repeatable. And ideally, it is memorable and really explains what it is the offer does. Like DM to Dollars tells you how you can go from a direct message to dollar bills in your bank account, which is obviously swell, right? Step two is having a short and clear explanation. So contrast where your audience is now versus where your offer gets them. Tie it into a framework, which I talked about in my last video, or a methodology that you teach can really root your offer in this demonstration that they're going to learn or have something done for them. And that is going to really be what sells the offer, is obviously what happens when they buy. So this is actually going to be one of the things that makes or breaks your offer, is the short explanation that you give them. Because what is it that they want? They're not buying the course. They're not buying the bonuses. They're not buying the done for you work necessarily. Like, yes, they are, but they're really buying that transformation. So tie it into a framework, tie it into a methodology, and bring it home with a transformation. Like, how are you leaving this person better off than when you found them? Step three is highlighting some key features that matter to your ICA. So list the most relevant part of your offer, not everything, that includes like the transformation over just the logistics. So example would be saying something like templates that will help you to DM with ease, or swipe copy that will help you handle any objection. So it's a way of mentioning the offer and mentioning the transformation that shows the features, but also brings it back to that step two, which is like what your audience is actually buying, which is that transformation. Now, I have found over the years, and I've been selling in the DMs since I quit my job in 2018. I was one of like the DM sales OGs. That's how I matched my day job income so quickly, was selling in the DMs. And since working with clients and since doing it myself, I have seen a lot of these mindset shifts need to come up. So number one is confidence sells. People buy when they see your enthusiasm and see that you love what it is you're doing. You can also stop overstuffing so many bonuses, and it seems like you're kind of compensating for a weak product. Personally, I have started stripping bonuses out of my digital products because that's not what sells. And that's not what I want somebody to feel when they look at my sales page or when they talk to me. Uh, Another little mindset shift is to know what your audience is experiencing, because you need to bridge the gap between where they are now and where they want to go. And the way that you bridge that gap is with your offer. You also want to make sure that you are intentionally avoiding analysis paralysis, because you're going to refine your messaging over time. And every time you talk about your offer, you're going to get clearer on it, and you're going to get better at it, and you're going to get more confident about it. And you're going to see what resonates with your audience. So here is actually a little challenge for you that comes directly from my course, DM to Dollars, which is I want you to talk about your offer 100 times in 30 days. So truly grab a sticky note and tally every single time you mention or name drop your offer, because the more you talk about it, the easier it becomes. This is truly where you are doing the work and where you are really figuring out how you are going to articulate your offer to drum up those sales. So let's go into like the nitty gritty of making your offers easy to buy, especially for DM sales. They're buying directly in that DM from that link. They're signing the contract directly in the DMs. They're filling out the proposal, whatever it is they're doing. They're not on desktop. So long, clunky sales pages are going to be an instant drop-off point for your audience. If you don't believe me, something I would actually encourage you to try is installing Hotjar on your website and just seeing what that tells you. But your job is to remove as many obstacles as possible between the lead and the purchase, and obviously doing this ethically. So what does it mean to make an offer easy to buy? It's reducing the friction between the lead, the offer, the product, and the purchase. So ask yourself, what is stopping them from purchasing? Do they have to go through a long webinar? And I mean literally. I don't just mean like mindset. I don't just mean things like not having the money. I mean, like, what are you putting in place that is stopping the purchase from happening? So that could be something like forcing them into a webinar before they purchase the product. It could be putting them into a different sort of funnel that has just too many steps. It could be your sales page being really freaking long and not optimized properly for mobile with not enough call to actions. And it could be like that they have to book a sales call or they have to do something before they can buy. Really, I want you to sit down and plain and simple ask, what is stopping them from purchasing? What are all the red like pieces of tape that I'm leaving all over the place that I'm expecting my audience to go through before they can buy? The solution here is obviously to remove the red tape. Most people don't need a sales call, they don't want a webinar, and they probably don't even want to opt in to buy your offer. And if they're ready to buy, just let them buy. Don't make them jump through hoops to give you money. It's not fun. It's not fair. It's not cute. It's not sexy. And your audience is really going to appreciate when they have a problem and you have a solution and you're not making them do anything weird to experience that transformation and get that resource that they so desperately need. So let's talk about some ways to lower the barrier of entry for DM sales. The most obvious here is send them directly to a checkout page or a contract instead of like a long form sales process. So personally, I use Thrivecart, which I love. It's super easy. I actually used to sell DM to Dollars. I actually used to sell a lot of my products just straight from a Thrivecart link with no sales page, no webinar, nothing like that. But there's also Samcart, there's Kajabi, there's also Dubsado for service providers, which can help you just make a contract that they can sign on their phone. And make sure that it is mobile friendly. It has to be easy to use on their phone. It has to be something that they can sign the contract, fill out the proposal, or just like enter their credit card. It's got to be super simple. And an optional little tip here is you can add a short video to your checkout page. So if you're like, but I got to explain things, add a short video. Add like a 90-second video to the top of your sales page or the top of your checkout page. And that can do the work for you. And it'll infuse personality and it'll clarify your offer. And again, this does not have to be fancy. It can be like a vertical TikTok style video that is just short, sweet, and to the point that you can do. It just has to explain what they get and how to purchase. Another thing you can do, which is actually one of like my favorite tips, is create a shorter sales page for DM conversations. So a DM specific sales page should include only what's included, the results, what transformation they can expect, the price, be upfront about the cost, how to pay, and make the checkout seamless. But you're going to want to cut things that are like your long personal story because people don't care. Persuasive sales copy, they already want the offer. So what are you trying to persuade them to do? Complex navigation, you want to keep it clear and mobile friendly. And of course, I have some action items for you here, and that is to simplify your buyer journey. So look at your offers and map out the buyer process from inquiry to contract or payment, and identify any unnecessary steps and remove them. So of course, if you clicked on this video, you're probably like, cover ManyChat, cover automation. And I do want to touch on that a little bit. The first thing I want to say is that automation doesn't replace real conversations, but it can help speed up the process. For the longest time, I was like, no, you have to do this manually. No, this is all about building relationships, which obviously it is all about building relationships, but it is also about removing the friction. And one of the ways we can remove the friction between the purchase is obviously with automation. Like ManyChat is great because it will remove that friction of like waiting for you to reply to something, but it's obviously not a fix all. I am still very big on doing it like manually, manual DM sales and manual DM like nurturing and conversion and all of that. But automation can help you with lead generation and qualification. So you can use keywords such as like DM me sell for details or comment SSF and I'll DM you the link, or comment link and I'll DM you the link, or whatever. And I know that you've seen this at this point, but set up automated welcome messages for new followers is also an option here. And you can use a simple questionnaire, especially in ManyChat, they allow you to do this, that can kind of qualify leads before responding manually. The second thing that automation can really help you do is streamlining some responses. So you can save some swipe copy into your Notes app or FAQs. You can use AI like ChatGPT to refine and personalize your responses, especially when you're handling objections. It can be really helpful to leverage AI in that scenario and have it help you address and see things from a different lens. You can also create pre-written follow-up messages to check in uninterested leads that maybe haven't purchased yet. And for payment and onboarding, you can set up so many behind the scenes automations after they pay via Thrivecart or Dubsado or whatever it is you're using. And Zapier or Make.com are super great for sending the next steps after purchase that can remove a lot of that friction as well. And again, we have things like ManyChat, we have things like Zapier, like I just said, we have things like Link and DM, but I really like But I personally really like when I'm talking to my audience and I'm getting to know them. And honestly, there are so many benefits to having personal conversations with your audience that really can't be understated. So in this video, we scratched the surface of selling the DMs. In the next video, we're going to go into how to find leads. So be sure to subscribe for that. And in the meantime, you can watch my video on frameworks, which will help you to create your first digital product, as well as how to talk about your offer in the future.